All right, so day 3. Everything is on your calculator. You're going to want to put this on your calculator. So let me set this up right now that I said that, so that I have a calculator in front of me. All right, so to do 16 to the 3/4, I'm just gonna, I like putting parentheses around the big number. You don't have to, but that just makes sure that my calculator knows that the 16 is the big number, and what I'm about to do is the power. So I'm gonna raise it to the power of 3/4. So there you go, 16 to the 3/4. That's 8, and guys, that's all you have to do. Okay, you're just gonna do that. So this should not be a struggle to do that. You just need a calculator. Okay, if you have your own, bring it. If you don't, get here fast enough to make sure you get one, because I have a very limited amount. Okay, number 18. So I'm just going to put 8 to the 5/3. And then hit enter. That's 32. And that's it. We're done. Okay. But then we get to things like number 19. And for that one, we don't necessarily use a calculator. Okay? For that one, we're actually going to have to break things down little by little. Okay? So first off, you guys have to remember that a negative exponent means you flip it. So right now it's 3x to the 6th. Your first step is to write it as 1 over 3x to the 6th to the positive 1/3. Now, a 1/3 power, what is that? What kind of root? If it has a 1/3 power. Anybody know? So x to the 1/3 is what kind of root? It's a cubed root, yeah. That's a cubed root. Okay? So that means that this is 1 over the cubed root of 3x to the 6th. Now notice there is no cubed root of 3. It doesn't exist. Well, I guess it does numerically, but not anything nice and clean. Okay, that's what I'm looking for, nice clean answers. But x to the 6th, I can actually simplify that. That's x cubed times x cubed, right? So I'll write that right here. 1 over the cubed root of 3 x cubed. Since this matches these two, that means those two x's get to go outside. So my final answer is 1 over, if two x's go outside, that's going to be x squared. Cubed root of 3. This is my solution. 1 over x squared cubed root of 3. So they're just going to want you to simplify. That's all. Notice, not a tough question. It's just you're breaking it down. That's all. The last 4 questions, 20, 21, 22, and 23, are all based on last week's quiz. Remember how you had square roots everywhere and you had to solve by squaring both sides, right? That's basically what we're going to do right now. Okay? I think you have 4 of these types of questions on your midterm on Friday. So we're going to do 4 of them, different types. Okay, but before I do that, does anybody have questions on the first 3 problems? Okay, the ones where you just had to plug it into your calculator or work it out a little bit slower, right? Just kind of breaking things down little by little. All right. So let's check out number 20. So we got the square root of 12 minus n equals n. And they want you to solve, right? Solve for n. We're actually starting with the more challenging question. The easier ones tend to have an equal to a number at the end, not a letter. But I just figured let's start with the more challenging one. Then we'll do a couple easier ones. Then we'll go back to a challenging one. So here we go. In order to do these problems, you're going to want to square both sides, because that's how you get rid of square roots. okay, you're going to want to square both sides. So this squared, this squared. So you get 12 minus n equals n squared. And I mean, that's not hard to do. It's pretty straightforward. The hard part is where you got to factor, but hopefully, if you feel comfortable with factoring, then that's not a hard thing to do either. So remember, you always want to move everything over to where the squared term is. Okay, so I'm going to leave this at 0 equal to n squared. Now the negative n, when you move it to the other side, has to change signs. So that's going to be plus n. And the positive 12 will become a minus 12. Now you do have to solve for n. That means I have to factor. Okay, so let me factor this out right here at the bottom. This would be negative 12 and a 1, right? Because your b value is a positive 1 that's in the middle. And then your a times c is 1 times negative 12, so that's negative 12. What two numbers should I use? 3, negative 4, positive 3. Other way. Oh, okay. There we go. So positive 4, negative 3. That looks good. 4 minus 3 is 1. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. So let's see. Let's rewrite our answer. Okay, so 0 equals n minus 3, n plus 4. Now remember, you just get to set these answers up little by little. So n minus 3 equals 0. N plus 4 equals 0. That means that n is equal to 3. Or n is equal to negative 4. So these are my answers. Okay, am I done? No, what do I got to do? You got to check them. Unfortunately, you have to do it, right? Because it may not work. So, check step. Now, obviously, if on your test, your multiple choice answers are, let's say, 1, 2, 0 and 8, and then 3 and negative 4, well then, okay, that maybe you don't have to check in that case because one of them is the only one that looks like your answer, so you pick that one, right? But if the answers are like 3, negative 4, 3 and negative 4, and 0, well, okay, now maybe I need to check them because they're saying maybe some of them don't work, right? So here we go. Let's plug in a 3 into my main equation. Okay, here's my main equation. 12 minus n equals n. So if I plug in a 3, I get 12. That's not 12, that's 19. 12 minus 3 square root equals to 3. 12 minus 3 is 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. So that checks out. That's good. Okay, plugging in a 3 works perfectly, so I'm going to put a box around that. Now let's try a negative 4. Okay, so let me try plugging in a negative 4. So 12 minus negative 4 is equal to negative 4. So that's square root of 16 equal to negative 4, which is 4 equal to negative 4. That doesn't work. So this is not allowed for us. Okay, so only one answer worked for us. This is why you have to check it. Because even though you did nothing wrong, you did everything correct, you solved, you factored, and everything, not all the answers we find for square roots work. So we got to see which ones work, which ones don't. Okay? Let me zoom out really quick. Any questions on this one? I mean, you can see all the work right there. Remember, trinomials, you got to factor. Okay, make sure you guys factor. And again, all these notes and the video and stuff will be there for you guys later. So if you guys need to see it again, you can always get that from the YouTube channel for video or from the Google Classroom for the notes. Okay? All right, so let's do one that's a little bit easier. Okay? Radical b minus 5 is equal to 10. We're going to solve for b. We're going to do the same thing we just did. Square both sides. Okay, so square root of b minus 5 is equal to 10. We're going to square both sides. So I get b minus 5 equals 100. Okay? All I got to do is add 5 and I'm done. So add 5. B equals 105. Now this is my answer, supposedly, but I got to solve for it. I got to make sure that it works. Because if it doesn't work, then there's no solution. If it does work, then that's my only answer. Right? So let's check it. So here's my formula, b minus 5 equals 10. If I plug in a 105, this is what it looks like. 105 minus 5 is equal to 10. Square root of 100 is equal to 10, so 10 equals 10. So that works. So that is a good answer, 105. Remember what I told you, we were going to start with a harder problem, we're going to do an easier problem, and then another easier problem, and if you look, or maybe not easier than 21, but 22 is not a difficult problem. It might look like it because you see two different square roots, but it's actually not a difficult problem. Just do what you've been doing, right? Square both sides. So let's do that. 2x minus 6 in a square root, 5x minus 15 in a square root. We're going to square both sides. By squaring it, we get rid of the square roots. So this comes out to 2x minus 6 equals 5x minus 15. At this point, you just have to solve, right? Use your algebra skills to move things back and forth, right? So let's subtract 2x on both sides. Okay, so there you go. And then I'm going to add 15 to both sides. So I get 3x on the right side, 9 on the left. So all I got to do is divide by 3. Okay, let me just put this over here so it doesn't get too close. So I'm just going to divide by 3. So x is equal to 3. Again, you want to check it. Okay, you want to check this just to make sure. So check step. We got square root of 2x minus 6 equals square root of 5x minus 15. Plug in a 3, so I get square root 2 times 3 minus 6 equals square root 5 times 3 minus 15. So that's 6 minus 6 equal to 15 minus 15. That's just 0 equals 0. That's what you get when you check it. 0 equals 0 is true. So therefore 3 is, or x is equal to 3. When I check it? Yeah. You want to make sure the square root actually works properly. So there's 22. Here's our last one, number 23. Okay. So let me just kind of give you a little more time just to finish writing number 22 down. Remember, check your work. Whenever you're doing radicals, always check your work. All right, so let's go to the last one, then we're done. All right, what's my first step in this one? Let me rewrite this. Negative 8 square root x minus 5 equals negative 16. What do I have to do? Yeah, I want to get rid of that negative 8 because I want the square root to be all by itself, right? Let's get rid of anything next to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by negative 8. So this is square root of x minus 5 equals to 2. And And then from there, this becomes one of the easier type problems, right? You just have to square both sides and start solving. So let's do that. Let's square both sides. So we get x minus 5 equals 4. Okay, so add 5. X equals 9. All right, so we're good. We're done, but got to check it. So let's just check it. Like I said, I know that's a pain, but this little bit of pain can help you get a problem right instead of assuming that it's right and then the number you found actually doesn't work. So let's just make sure, okay? So we're going to plug in a 9. So negative 8 square root of 9 minus 5 is equal to negative 16. Negative 8 square root of 4 is negative 16. The square root of 4 is 2. So negative 8 times 2 is negative 16, which is true. Negative 16 is negative 16. So that works. So 9 is the correct answer. I don't know if you guys remember, but when we were doing these things, when I was teaching it to you guys, there were some problems that came out as no solution. The stuff that I solved didn't work, right? Even though I didn't make mistakes, but it could happen. That's why you want to check your work, okay?